I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
Hey everybody, Oops the Podcast, O the P. You know it, you love it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
OTP.
Sit next to Francis.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Hemingway, you made a Hemingway reference the last episode. This is sort of like a Hemingway shirt.
Do you like Ernest Hemingway? Have you read any of his books?
Nope. Sadly.
You might like them.
I feel like I would.
Yeah.
I feel like I would like him as a guy. I know a little bit about his like lifestyle, and
I don't know how sweet he was. I think we immortalize him, but I don't know how he was a pretty grouchy dude.
really.
Yeah. I mean, he was always in pain, and he drank more than anyone we know.
Didn't he live in Cuba for a while?
Yeah, he bounced around. He was always bouncing around.
It's so interesting how like during certain times you can go places and then other times you can't. Isn't that just like a crazy thing?
Yeah, I think I think a lot of men say that they love Hemingway because he was sort of seen as this
Manly man.
manly man. The way that I view those guys who work on construction on the street, my friends, my coworkers,
your colleagues,
my union mates. But the truth is that, he was pretty fucked up.
So there's something interesting about
Shot himself in the head with a shotgun.
That's just crazy. I didn't know that, dude. The glorification of things that like should not be glorified. Like a good example of that is like The Wolf of Wall Street. When people are like, I love that movie.
I know.
And then you like listen to them talk a little more and they're like, it was just so awesome. It was so dope. I wish I could get some Quaaludes.
I know.
And then they just like completely ignore how like sad the ending of it is.
And also the fact that the hero of the movie is just a blatant criminal.
Totally.
The thing about that movie that's so great, it's just how funny it is.
No,
It's Leonardo DiCaprio being hysterical.
It's a very, very good movie. Jonah Hill's great too.
Incredible. Yeah.
But yeah, like you're like, what, dude? I don't know.
Right.
Whatever. It's easy to do.
Speaking of wealth, I have been hunting. I've made up my mind that I want a nice watch.
Do you have one currently?
I have a decent watch, an okay watch, a watch that costs less than $600.
What kind of watch?
The Shinola.
Oh, from Detroit.
People always ask me about
Shout
it.
out.
They like my watch, and
That's
I tell
a good
them,
watch.
I'm very fond of my Shinola, but it's the only watch that I have, and I wear it every day. And
What made you decide you wanted to step it up?
you know what it was? It's the fact that I gave her the engagement ring, and now she's got this sick thing.
She just has a piece.
To show off to everybody. You're going to learn this, Julio. When you propose, right, you both get asked the story of the proposal by everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us the story. And the story's not all that sick.
It's good, though.
Asked her to marry me.
It's a good story.
It's not like I got some flash mob to,
No, but it doesn't matter.
do the Thriller
Oh,
dance
so you mean,
in
okay, so they want to know
Times Square.
the literal proposal itself.
Yeah, they asked
Okay.
you to do that. I'm like,
Where
well,
did
we
you
went
do
on
it?
a
How'd
walk,
you do
and then
it?
I asked her to marry me. That's kind of how simple it is.
Right.
You throw in a couple details. You know me. I'm a storyteller. So I throw in the details.
A raconteur.
Early flight, I was a little bleary-eyed, and all these things had to go correctly.
I was racing against the clock.
Yeah, exactly. She was stressed. She couldn't believe that I was asking her to go on a walk. I mean, how crazy is that?
I looked the guy in the eye and I said, Buster, I need to get on that flight.
Yeah. So people ask you the story and you tell it and it gets a little annoying. I don't know. It's fine. And the thing, though, is that whenever she tells the story, inevitably it ends with them saying, can I see the ring?
Mm-hmm.
And then she gets to go like this.
And then Francis's turn is over.
And people swoon. No, I don't even get to do that. I don't have anything to show for the story.
But you got it. So therefore you do have something.
Yeah,
to show.
nobody gives a shit about my part.
That's true.
She is a visual aid She has the gasp inducer.
She's the Vanna White.
Yeah. She's the sort of the prosecuting attorney who is questioning the witness and says, "Where were you on the night of this?" And they say, "Well, I was at the TCBY getting frozen yogurt." And then I say, "Well, explain this. Please bring evidence bag number DC 414.
I'd like to call so-and-so to the stand.
Yeah.
Everyone's like,
And then you have this blown up picture of like a bloody scalp with a TCBY yogurt spoon mixed into the hair. And so, wow, I actually did that better than I thought I would. I didn't expect.
And where's the only
that-
restaurant in North America that carries those spoons? That would be TCBY Treats, sir.
I didn't expect
That's it, Your Honor.
my bit to work out as to
Yeah,
tie
that worked out
to
nicely.
come around as well as it did. Ryan was
Full
proud of me.
circle.
Okay. Anyway, the point is, she's got the bloody TCBY spoon on her hand, and everyone loves that. And I got nothing. I'm not gonna whip out my credit card statement and be like, "Well, see."
So this is literally the reason why you decided you needed a new watch? Like, it's what gave you the idea? I'm just wondering.
Do you know what another thing of it is, Julio?
What?
I was able to save for the engagement ring more quickly than I thought I would be able to. It just required me being a little bit kind of mindful of my
Yeah.
spending and also of my saving.
Yeah.
And I realized that it's a lot easier to save money for really nice things if you have something in mind.
Dude, I find that to be true. I want to set the record straight on that. If you put your mind to a thing that you want to spend money on,
Yeah.
it's remarkable how you can really manifest it.
Yeah, exactly. So that made me realize, well, this is within reach for me. And I also think it's a testament to, the fact that the pod is doing well. I've had some good work things happen lately, and I don't know. It's just something that I decided I wanted.
Great.
And even though I told myself, don't crave.
Here we are.
I see a watch as
It's
something.
okay to crave, dude.
Yeah, I see a watch as something that could remind me of progress in my life. It's there. You see it every day. It's on your wrist. My hope is that I will look down, take the measure of the time, and then also say, you know what? That looks pretty nice
Yeah.
on my wrist.
It's a nice accessory.
Just as the ring looks nice on her hand. She said to me, she keeps telling me, I look at it and I feel like a grown up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And there's a part of me that wants to feel like a grown up a little.
So do you have friends who are into watches? Because I do. And I hear a lot about watches without having that much knowledge.
I have a few, but not close friends.
Mhm. One of my best friends is a big watch guy, and he's always like trading in two and putting down X amount of money to get this new one, and like, you know what I mean. He's always parlaying his watches into better watches. He's kind of like watch climbing.
Oh, interesting.
And he loves to be like, oh, this one that I got retains value. Like, what's funny, actually, Brent's a big watch guy too. I almost went into Brent voice.
Oh.
Retains value.
That's Brent. I know Brent. I know Brent as well as I think I do. That's him right there.
So tell us about it, dude. What's the process?
So, there are watches are seeing an insane renaissance right now. Luxury watches, and as are, by the way, sports cards.
Are sports cards still?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's because the market has been flooded with cash.
Right.
The treasury is just printing, and everyone's saying, well, that we're staring down inflation, but nobody cares. Everyone just keeps spending, and they're stimulus checks and all of that. But then on the flip side, we've had these major supply chain issues. So I think that has affected the watch industry, where steel, right, has been harder to come by, and the most sought after watches are the steel watches.
But correct me if I'm wrong about this. A lot of these watches that we're talking about are watches that were made at one time and they don't make new ones, right? Like they're making new ones, but like this specific piece or whatever, there aren't any more of them besides what's out there, right? Or is that incorrect?
No, they keep making new ones.
Even of like the specific model where there's like a wait list or whatever, they keep making new
Oh
ones?
yeah.
Okay.
But the brands are very, very careful about
Right.
not producing too many because they want to retain this aura of scarcity.
Yes.
Because scarcity creates,
Hype.
makes them hype, and that's why this gray market is so
There's huge
inflated.
resale, yeah.
But it's just one of those things where if they have the means, probably Rolex has the means to make a bunch of these watches,
Right.
but they don't do that. And one of the reasons they don't do it is because they're a privately owned company. The Rolex is not publicly traded. And publicly traded watch companies or companies that are under the banner of publicly traded jewelry companies, it's in the interest of the shareholders
Right.
for the stock to go up. And for the stock to go up, they need to
Introducing
see
new products.
increase in sales.
Right.
So holding inventory is not feasible for a publicly traded company. But some of
Interesting.
these privately family-owned companies like Audemars and I think Rolex are very careful about what they put out into the market and the quantities. So you hear these insane stories about, there's a 20-year wait list for the GMT Master 2 Pepsi colored one. You've probably seen
Rolex?
that.
Yeah.
It's the blue and red
I have seen it, yeah.
face or bezel or whatever. And then you ask, well, so what's the process like to get one? And this is where I'm at. I'm getting a feel for this process. And it's all about going to these authorized dealers. If you don't want to go to the secondary market and pay an insane markup, you go to these authorized Rolex dealers or watch stores and you develop a relationship with the salesperson.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what do you think that means?
So I've seen my boy do this. So he'll go in there and he'll
What
start
is he bringing them fucking cake pops?
No, this is what he does. His parents own a hotel. So he'll go in there and be like, oh, we'd love to get like to this watch store that's like near the hotel. He'll be like, we could like help you guys get stuff in the rooms. You should talk to the da-da-da. I'll connect you. When in reality, he doesn't necessarily have a ton of like pull, but he just seems like he's the value add guy now. And maybe this is someone they should know, whatever type of thing. So then you hope that when the new shit comes in that you wanted, you get a text being like, we got this coming in, just so you know.
Do they call upon his quid pro quo? Do they call upon him for the hotel room?
So it's not the hotel room. So what they kind of want is the way that some of these bigger hotels, they'll have jewelry stores in the lobby, or they'll have some kind of like promotional stuff that will lead people to this watch store, since it's a high-end hotel as well. But this hotel's boutique, so they don't really do stuff like that. So he's like, maybe we can get you in the sort of like the bedside pamphlet thing where like in the shopping section, whatever. So then what he does is he passes them off to the person who handles that. Which is actually, there's actual value there, but he doesn't care if the deal happens.
Of course.
He helped facilitate this connection.
Right.
Maybe he invites them to dinner at the restaurant where he doesn't have to pay.
Mm-hmm.
Da-da-da-da-da. And now he hopes that,
Yeah. Right. So that's really interesting. That is really interesting. And that's exactly what it is. And I have never been in any kind of a business deal or sought something where the other side, that the seller, was explicitly telling me, in order for me to get you one of these, we have to develop a relationship.
that's crazy.
In other words, suck my dick. I've never had that. You think about this.
Would you suck his dick to get one? If you didn't have to pay?
If for a free watch?
Yeah, those things gotta be at least $20K, right?
I
More?
would do like a Richard Mille, like the one that
But those-
Nadal wears.
Those start, no, but the Nadal one's like $500K.
That's what I'm saying. That's
Okay,
what I would do it
okay.
for.
So you would, but you wouldn't do one for the one that you currently want, the Pepsi color? Not enough money?
I don't know. This guy's dick probably didn't. I don't think it would be that nice.
So you'd rather spend the money than just suck this guy's dick for like 3 minutes?
Yeah. Yeah, probably. I just don't think I watch. I don't know if I want.
25K. It's like
Well, this is on the resale
On the
market.
resale
It retails for like 9 something.
Oh, cool. Interesting.
So okay. So my point being, right?
Mhm.
Think about this. Think about the relationships where there was a status divide, and you wanted something from somebody. What for me, the obvious one is a doorman at a nightclub,
Yes,
like
right.
a night
Which
venue.
you navigated through that quite well, it sounds like.
Yeah, but that's all you that's all just playing the game, right? And so back then, you would spend time talking to these people and you'd get to know their names and you'd shake their hand every time you came to their place, and eventually they get to know you and they think like, "Oh, I've seen this guy. He always has a good time. He always says hi to me. He tips the bartenders well.
Mhm.
Maybe he greases me with a $20 bill every time he comes in. Now he's like a priority customer, right? But those people, when you showed up the first time at the nightclub and you said, "Hey, I want to come in," they didn't say, "That's going to require us developing a relationship." Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes. How formally introduced that piece was. is
I've
insane.
never had someone straight up, like, I guess, pull back the curtain and be like, "You're going to have to pretend to be my friend for a long time before I
Yeah.
get you this watch."
You're like, "Do you want tickets to the stand?"
Yeah. But so then you start thinking, what
What
do I
have to
have?
offer? Right.
Okay, so for me, it's taking someone out for a round of golf at my club,
Oh, that's good.
which is a nice turkey leg. People like that. It's a nice offering. It's if somehow miraculously they're a fan of alternate side parking,
Okay.
right? And I can be like, "Well, yeah, I do that. Oh, I'm so glad you like it. Huh, now we're friends."
Right. Or third, what if maybe they're a big fan of nuts.com?
Nuts.com. I can get you an incredible sampler bag. We happen to know them. They sponsor our podcast. What's your podcast, you say? Oh, it's Oops the Podcast. And yes, we do. We are presented by Nuts.com.
Nuts.com is the best kept secret of savvy snackers across the country. Talk about just a delicious fucking Rolodex of every kind of snack.
They
you could
have
want.
every snack. It almost sounds overwhelming, but I promise they make it easier for you. If you know what you want, you can go onto their website and find it. If not, just take a look there. You'll find anything you want. It's a very nice thing to stock your pantry with.
4,000 products to choose from. Delicious, healthy kid and family-friendly snacks too, like dried strawberries, custom trail mix, all sorts of decadent nut combinations. There's something for everybody at nuts.com. It's not just nuts. It's every kind of snack you could ever want.
Mm-hmm.
So new nuts.com customers get free shipping on your first order when you text OOPS to 64,000. So text OOPS to 64000 to get free shipping on your first order from nuts.com. That's OOPS to 64,000. Terms apply. Available at nuts.com/terms.
Nice.
Okay, back to our list.
All right. So you think about what
you have
What
to
do you
offer.
have? And I guess charm is certainly not going to be enough.
Charm's not going to cut it.
It's not going to cut it on a watch.
Yeah.
But when I walked into this store on a whim, thinking I'm going to start this process, I want to get my name on the wait list. This was the Audemars store.
Okay.
And I was wearing yellow bird dog shorts, like bright fluorescent yellow, and then a fluorescent sky blue t-shirt.
Love it.
So athletic wear with red running sneakers. And they didn't even want to let me in.
Really?
Understandably.
Did you have to ring the bell?
I look like sorbet. I don't look like I'm a serious customer.
Yeah, but dude, you could also look like one of those guys. Like sometimes guys who look like that look like the real deal also.
Yeah, true.
You don't really know.
True. So
But that is funny. You look
So-
insane.
the security guard looked at me. They kept me in the antechamber, right between the first door and the
Oh, yeah.
second door, for 15 minutes because I didn't have an appointment. And she said, if we could, you got to make an appointment.
It's like Uncut Gems.
Yeah, exactly.
You're just
So
stuck in fucking limbo.
So they eventually let me in. This lovely guy, he's available, and he was great. They weren't. They gave me the time of day, and they were not super judgmental. They did not pretty woman me.
Mm-hmm. It's good.
And he sat me down. He talked me through the watches, the process. He let me try on a couple that they had, but not for sale. Just whatever. And then he told me. He said this. I said, "How long does it take?" And he goes, "Well, there's no timeline. It's about developing a relationship, and we'll see how we go.
Mhm.
So basically, the more that they like you, the quicker you get your watch.
Right.
And so, once that was impressed upon me, I started becoming Mr. Comedian Man.
Okay.
And I start cracking jokes about the outfit I'm wearing. And I start trying to be this kind of like bumbling fool, lovable fool.
Mr. Bean.
This clown character in running shoes. Like, I've had my heart set on one of these watches. Obviously I know I'm not worthy. That's why I wore this outfit. If I'd known I was coming in here today, I would have dressed up a little more. And I can hear myself becoming this sort of sycophantic, needy projection of myself. And I walked out feeling kind of dirty. But I also walked out thinking, oh, I feel like I'm
good
closer
about
to the
this.
watch now.
Dude, what about this? Could you theoretically like buy an available one from him to show that you're the real deal, just knowing that when yours becomes available, you're just going to trade it in and then pay the difference for the new one or whatever?
It's possible, but I don't even know. First of all, the reason that the watch I want from them is so backordered, is so waitlisted, is because it's their cheapest one.
Oh, okay.
So the stainless steel ones are the cheapest. And from there, they go into their gold and their platinum watches or whatever. And that's when you start to get into like 50, 100,000.
So, dude,
I couldn't afford to do
I'm gonna hook
that.
you up. My boy is a big Audemars guy, and he like has a bunch of them. I should connect you guys.
Interesting.
And he definitely has like a connection, and he's very helpful.
Well,
too.
there you go.
Like, see, this is how things get.
Yeah.
I don't like. I'm sure you have it all settled up on your own. I'm not suggesting that I can add any inherent value. but this guy does know a lot of. He knows the ins and outs.
The tricky thing I'm facing right now is when I told you that I can afford a watch. It's probably more the Rolex. The Audemars
I got it.
goes up
Yeah.
by a couple of multiples.
Okay.
But
whatever.
No, listen, I want to talk to him.
Dude, I have a funny virtual thing unfolding too. I don't know if you saw this yesterday, and I know that.
Can I ask you a question before you do that?
Yeah.
What would you use? What are the things that you would be able to use
To offer?
in that same position if you were developing a relationship with someone?
So I think that what would happen is as I was sitting there, I would realize very quickly that I have nothing to offer. Like,
Yeah, but you have the same shit I do. It's comedy.
I don't think I do.
It's
I don't have
comedy and it's
so I don't have a golf
Podcasting.
course. Like
well,
maybe
that's the only one.
like maybe somehow if this person happens to care that I do comedy, like I have the feeling that somebody who's working at a store like that, who like runs the store, like doesn't really care that much about comedy, is what my guess would be.
Right.
Who knows? Maybe they would be impressed. They'd be like, "Oh, look, this guy like has like a good Instagram or something." I'm hoping he would say that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like maybe. I guess I would give that a shot. I don't think it would work. I think what would end up happening is I would try to find different avenues where I could get some kind of advantage. One of them being, like you said, posting. I would ask people I know who know about watches what they can do.
Yeah.
See, but besides that, like I don't know how much leverage I have. Do you think, is there something that I'm missing that you can think of?
No, I think you are incredibly charming.
I'd be like, does your kid go to Wesleyan?
Does he want to?
Yeah, seriously, yeah, that could. But thank you. That's very,
No,
that's
I
very nice.
think charm is such an asset for you that you would be able to find a way to use that.
And Chris, and I appreciate that. That's very kind. Chris just was making tennis stroke gestures.
Yeah.
I guess I could offer up tennis lessons. Though, to be honest, I'd prefer not to have to do that. The amount of tennis lessons it would take to get a Rolex would just be like pretty outrageous.
Yeah.
I could tell you how many. It would literally take 100 tennis lessons. If the tennis lessons are $100 an hour, I'd have to give 100 tennis lessons. It's too many tennis
love it.
lessons. One
I-
week for 2 years. Too many.
That is the end of that. Though I did have something else. I get the sense that you, like me, are very resourceful.
Yeah.
And whereas there are basically two ways to get things that are limited, things that are hard to find in the world. One is by just having all the money in the world
Yeah.
and being able to pay whatever to get anything.
Mm-hmm.
I heard a story once about Kevin Hart where he was on the road in Boston. I don't know, playing some theater, maybe an arena, and someone, I can't even remember which comic, was opening for him. Afterwards, they went back to his hotel to hang, and Kevin said, "Do you want to play video games, PlayStation or whatever?" And the guy was like, "Yeah, that'd be sick." And he was like, "Well, we don't have a PlayStation." Kevin goes, "That's okay." And he texted one of his guys who was like in the next room over and was like, "We want a PlayStation and we want 10 games. Go." And it was like midnight in Boston.
Damn, dude.
And the guy returned with a brand new like PS4 or whatever, the newest one
That's
that had just come
crazy.
out and was hard to find, and like 20 games within an hour.
He hit up Mass Pike Miles, dude.
We're yeah.
Yo, Miles, what's good?
but it's like, you know, in your mind, where on earth
I
is
know.
he getting that from?
Yeah, that's crazy.
An unwrapped, brand new, you know, and it's just like, well, if you've got $20,000 of cash, or
Dude,
whatever the fuck it is, someone's going to be willing to sell that to you at that hour.
That just makes me worry. Like, oh, life without errands sounds really stressful to me because that's how I divert from stress. Maddie Smith
Interesting.
once said, our pal comedian, she goes, "Yeah, any day where like I can't like think, I do admin work,"
Mm-hmm.
which is funny. It's like doing like boring things, like
Yeah.
posting TikToks or whatever that might mean. Doing like making a dentist appointment. If I didn't have to do any of that, dude, I don't know what the fuck I would do.
Yeah, I completely agree. Going to Whole Foods, being in the aisles,
Yeah.
loading my basket for the week is one of the most sort of organizing, mind settling activities that I do.
Totally. Because
Yeah.
like you're used to it, like you know how to do it. You don't have to figure anything out. You're
It's-
just doing it.
It's that, and it's also you feel like you're really setting yourself up for a better week.
Totally.
But anyway, I didn't mean to
Totally.
keep that combo
No,
going.
it's fascinating stuff, dude. I
yeah.
love it. I love it all. So I know that this has happened to you before and it's been brought to your attention, but this I think is the first time it's happened to me where somebody made their dating profile with all my pictures.
Oh,
And dude, it's pretty funny. I posted the video. Somebody sent it to us on Instagram, on the Oops account. And
Sometimes I wonder now if when this happens, is someone really trying, or are they just like a fan, almost
so just
paying
wait.
homage?
So it doesn't say, and once we start going down the profile, you'll give you a better sense
Yeah,
of that.
great.
But people have had people have been like chiming in with really specific things about this, which have been really funny to see what everybody picks
Nice
up on.
one. Nice
So Aaron is this person's name.
one. Aaron.
Yes. And it's
Okay.
just a picture that Marcus Russell Price took of me is as the main photo. So it's interesting to see too, which photos
That is
people
a
think
sick
are like,
photo
it's a
of
cool
you,
photo,
though.
right?
Yeah.
Which it's cool to see which photos people think are like the marquee photos too.
Yeah, right.
So then I think this must be Hinge because there's like a series of sort of like random questions.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. And it says B side of my camera roll. And then it says, I bet you can't. And the first thing is make the bed better than I can. The next picture is me on stage doing comedy. And it says, a special talent of mine. And it's just him it's me holding a microphone, presumably doing stand up.
Oh, that was the answer. The picture is the answer to what the special
Yeah.
talent is?
Yes.
It doesn't say.
Doesn't say anything.
Okay.
Which is actually it's an interesting, because if anybody asks, he could say something else.
He's like, yeah,
I
speak
took a
at
comedy class once.
conventions.
Yeah,
you don't want to
exactly.
see me do that right now.
I used to be a bar mitzvah DJ. Whatever
Yeah,
it
it's
is.
like, because if you said comedy, then
Then-
you'd be like,
oh, show
tell
me
me
a
a
clip.
joke. Where do you perform?
Exactly.
They'd sniff it out.
6 feet, which is my height. Interesting. 36, not far off from my age. Spiritual senior product manager, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Ooh.
And I'm wondering if there's any coincidence of us saying we've never been there or something. It can't. There's no way.
No.
That doesn't matter, right? Liberal. Guess where this photo was taken? Me in my Roger Federer hat in the Bahamas. Spoiler alert. Wearing my mask.
Mm-hmm.
Followed by I go crazy for the Steelers and stand-up comedy. Then it's a picture of me and my boy Issam Babiose
Yeah.
in Rwanda. Followed by I want someone who is genuine and authentic, can be vulnerable vulnerable, Jesus, and can call me on my BS. Dude, are you fucking serious? None of these things are happening in your profile, pal.
Okay, so this is what I wanted to ask you before because I want to talk about this. There's lots to unpack here. The question I have for you is, if you were making your own Hinge profile out for yourself,
Dude, I'd be getting slayed all the time, apparently. This profile's fire.
is it?
Yes,
A lot of
dude.
people are matching with this guy?
I have no idea, actually, but like, I'm looking
Okay,
at this
so
and I'm
you
like,
like
dude, I
this.
want to bang this guy.
Okay.
This is sick.
Okay, that's interesting. You're not thinking, boy, he should have done this. He should have pulled out these traits of mine more. Should have highlighted this. These photos aren't that great. Nothing.
Dude, it's all pictures of me looking cool in cool places, doing cool things. Like, how is this? Like, this is dope. Like this seems like
I would date
exactly
this guy.
what every single person needs in their life is me, dude. I'm partially joking, but it's fun to fucking. This is a compliment. Like, people are like, what do you think? Did you report it? I'm like, no, dude, I hope this guy gets laid, dude.
That's
what I hope.
assist. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Then it's this comment, if you've been here, just me and Canyonlands looking cute. Fucking dope. Then felt cute. Might delete later a picture I believe that Chris took of me at my birthday party as the Momofuku cake has arrived. And that's the end of the profile. But this is solid, right, dude?
I think it's a very good selection.
It's solid, dude.
From that guy of you. In fact, it's so good that it worries me. Because he dove deep on you.
Yeah. Aaron, good luck, man.
You
I
know,
hope
this
that
isn't just some first 5 pics from your Instagram.
Yeah, no, this is a full on deep dive. It's more recent photos mostly.
Okay.
Which is good.
Mm-hmm.
Also makes me feel good about my sort of like curation.
Yeah. Nice one.
But anyway, dude, let us know how it goes. If you get lucky, hopefully you listen to the podcast. For fuck's sake, if you don't,
it could be. I could see this being a wink from a podcast fan, and because I feel like that's happened to me before.
Okay.
When people have catfished me, they were just doing it hoping that I would send it would get back to me. And
that's cool.
Yeah,
I dig that. So okay, let me ask you now. Your initial question, which I think was, I don't know, but were you saying like, has anyone ever catfished and said Francis and then just been Francis? Or?
No.
Okay.
No, they always have a different name.
Okay, obviously. Right?
Yeah.
Like that would be insane not to.
I think so.
And but this has happened to you before?
It's happened a couple times.
And it's a similar kind of situation usually, or was it like Tinder? Like what app?
Bumble once and Hinge once, I think.
Cool. Well, dude, Aaron, let us know how it goes, man. Good luck out there.
I hope he listens.
Dude, I saw something pretty funny that I wanted to ask you about and see what you thought. Did you see that Jeff Bezos has decided that he's sending William Shatner,
Kirk, yeah,
Captain Kirk into space?
Yeah.
Is part of that like him trying to be funny?
You know,
it's pretty fucking funny.
It's funny. I also bet that Bezos is a huge Star Trek fan, grew up as a boyhood fan, and this is like his Richie Rich thing.
He's
you
like,
know,
how cool would this be? How cool would it be to send Captain Kirk?
It's like when Richie Rich hires the New York Yankees to come play baseball with him, pitch to him in the backyard of his house or whatever. It's like, if I grew up one day to be rich enough, I'd love to go to space with Captain Kirk. Turns out, well, Jeff, Captain Kirk can't afford to do that without you. So you're going to have to finance it.
Is that what it is?
Well, William Shatner, I don't know, maybe he can afford it.
He's got to have money.
He probably, yeah.
He has to. But maybe it's what you're talking about. The wait list is fucking 20.
That's it.
He needs to build a relationship with the space person.
And not only that, but, you know, I would also think that William Shatner is not going to go to space and spend whatever ungodly amount it is, you know, to do it with Jeff Bezos. He's taking that if it's offered to him for free.
Right. Maybe he doesn't care that much. How high is going to space on your to-do list?
Not even on the list.
At all?
No.
You're not even interested?
Climbing Everest is way ahead of that.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that something you plan to do? Base camp or climbing Everest?
I would go to base camp first. Just as its own trip. Get the lay of the land. And then decide from having done that, do I want to commit to becoming a mountaineer, do the training, do all the required summits, and the training and all that for a long time, and then come up with the whatever $75,000.
Is that how much it costs?
Well, the permit alone from whatever Nepal, I think is like 30 grand. I don't know exactly.
Ryan, can you check this for us right now?
It's really high.
Can you check how? I believe base camp is 18,000 feet.
No. Oh, base camp.
And
yeah, that
I believe
sounds about
Everest
right.
is 29,000 feet.
29 something. Yeah.
29
change.
300.
And then you got to.
Everest.
Yeah. What is the cost of a permit for summiting?
Let's get the
Everest,
rundown on all this.
making a summit bid. And then you got to pay, Adventure Outfitters or one of those guiding companies, and then the Sherpas,
Get Sherpas.
and the flights, and it's big.
It's expensive.
Big
Yeah.
ticket for, by the way, no certainty that you're going to even be able to make a summit bid.
Or that you'll even survive.
Yeah. There's a
Seriously.
lot of variables.
So, Ryan, before you go, just so everybody knows, Ryan, we're integrating Ryan a bit more. Do not fear. Chris is also sitting in the room with us at this exact same time in case people think this is the spoiler. That Chris did, in fact, move on.
Yeah.
He has not. So I'm stopping that conversation before it even starts. Ryan, what do you got?
He did not. 5,364 meters.
Well, I don't know how to convert that. Do you know feet?
Oh, wait. That's not what we were even.
Yeah, we are.
We know.
Where base camp is.
Oh, base camp.
Oh, yeah, but what's the elevation in feet?
Base camp and feet. Well, you could just,
No, he was saying meters, 5,000 meters.
17,598 feet.
Okay.
Nice one.
Cool. And then Everest itself, the summit.
Well, we know that.
29.
Yeah.
Okay.
29
Is
something. Yeah, it's 29
Okay.
200 something, 300 something. What is the cost of the permit to make a summit bid? That's what I'm curious about.
Dude, I would climb to base camp with you if you want to go to Tibet.
$11,000.
$11,000
Dollars?
per person.
Yeah, okay.
To
That's
go all
less
the way
than I
up.
thought, but it's still hefty.
It's a lot.
That's just
Yeah.
the permit. That's the right to climb, to make an effort to go
Yeah.
up. Then you got to get all the gear and all that shit.
If you wanted to go to Tibet with me afterward, I would climb base camp with you.
I would go to base camp. That would be fun.
It would be fun.
It's hefty.
Yeah, no,
It's
I
like a
know.
9-day hike in,
Crazy.
and then you get to base camp. My thought was we should go perform comedy for the people who are trying to make a summit bid at base camp.
That's funny as fuck. That's a great idea.
What an amazing, perform
Dude, that's a great idea.
for all these guys who are about to take on the scariest challenge of their lives.
That's a great idea. That's really
I
funny.
had this idea when I was at Barstool, and we just never quite got it together. But,
Oh man, that's a great one.
and then if you're willing to pay a little more, you chop her back from there to
Sick,
to India or whatever.
Kathmandu.
Yeah, Kathmandu, and then get home, so that you don't have to hike 9 days out.
Right. Dude, that is a fucking hilarious idea. We should make that happen.
Around, they're making us
So,
mate and stew on their Bunsen burners, and we're doing bits.
lighten up, guys.
Yeah, everyone's-
Where are you from?
Yeah, everyone's wearing their yak coats. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fire, dude.
I think that'd be
that is
really cool.
fucking-
It's a dream I've had.
That's phenomenal, dude. Live from Everest Base Camp.
Well, it fits with your
I know.
travel comedy thing, because we would stay in the Sherpa villages on the way. We'd get to know people.
Dude, it's fully falls under the umbrella of stuff that I love to do.
Yeah.
Also, I would love to do that.
That's one I've thought about a lot.
Very, very cool. Dude, so I got a flu shot.
Oh, nice.
Have you gotten the flu shot?
I asked. I went to a dermatologist. They do not have them there.
They're like, did you mean Botox? They're like, what? That's fucking funny. So dude, it's funny because all this vaccine talk in general, this general vaccine talk, has really taught me about vaccines in general and things that I thought before that were incorrect. Now that vaccines have been brought to the forefront of conversation, it has squashed these sort of bogus theories that I used to have. I used to believe that the flu shot could give you the flu, and that's why I never got it. I never told anybody this. I never discussed it. Somebody may have said it once in passing, and somehow I incorporated it as gospel into my thought process.
Did you think that it
Siri just chimed in,
just shitting on you?
going, I don't know how to respond to that, Julio.
Did you think that it was that people were getting it to give themselves the flu, or
No.
that it was a possible side effect?
I thought that like the way that the COVID vaccine makes you feel like you have COVID, maybe if you get like a side of a reaction.
I see.
I thought that in flu land, when you got the flu shot and felt shitty, that just meant that you had gotten the flu. Even though that had never happened to me when I got the flu shot. I was just like, oh, the flu shot just gives you the flu. I believed that at the time.
Do people feel shitty after taking flu shots?
It's a risk, like with any, I guess, vaccine for that
Okay.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's a risk of having flu-like symptoms after getting the flu shot, which didn't happen to me, by the way, and never has.
Understood.
But somehow I believed this stupid, incorrect thing that the flu shot could give me the flu, thus I never got the flu shot, which was fucking insane of me.
Mm-hmm.
And until this year, I believed, which is crazy. Dude, sometimes you just like go through life believing something and you don't have the opportunity to be told you're wrong.
What is the phenomenon where you don't hear about something forever and ever and ever, and then out of nowhere, you know this.
I believe it is called the Baader-Meinhof something.
This is so good that you know this.
There are different names for it.
And then out of nowhere, you learn it for the first time in your life, very, very late. You've missed the boat all these years, and then all of a sudden you're hearing
about it constantly.
everywhere.
Yes. I think that is what I think that's one of the things that it's called. And do you
Interesting.
know what the Baader-Meinhof people were? It was like some extremist, not extremist, there was some like radically liberal group who like, it was essentially like the woke people of, I believe, either the 60s or 70s. And they were like, you know, like free Palestine, like whatever. And they like went and joined the PLO, but then they were sunbathing naked. And the PLO was like, guys, we don't do this here.
Yeah.
I think that's like, it was this like German. So I think it applies to that because once people heard of this group, they started hearing about it everywhere.
I
And
see.
now it's become a term. Ryan, what do you got?
It's also referred to as the frequency illusion,
Huh.
I've heard that, I think, as well.
but that's right.
Cool. Love it. That is such a thing. Okay, question for you.
Please.
I didn't get into a fight, but I got into a Hillary staring at me with her jaw dropped for 30 seconds because of this. I'm going to spell a word and I would like you to pronounce it for us. Here's the word. Figure.
Oh boy. Yeah. Bigger.
Thank you. That's how I say it too. She went, figure. And then just stood there staring at me.
But I knew before you told me that was what she was going to say.
This is so reassuring having you, the wordsmith, saying figure.
But I almost like her pronunciation better.
But like, is it a tomato situation? Or is there one that's, I can't imagine that figure is wrong.
I think she's just trying harder than we are. I think she's just
Shots fired at Hill
No,
Dog.
but I mean she's
I know,
speaking
I
better
know.
than we are.
Right.
When she does her pronunciation, she's giving it more of a go. And we're hoping that we can say it fast enough that nobody says, "Hey, you didn't acknowledge all the vowels."
Figures. Dude, I find that I don't typically say shit super wrong except a couple things maybe. Like, is there anything you notice where you're like, you say that like that?
No.
I don't think I like speak with any particular regionalism. My mom says egg instead of egg. I don't know where the fuck she got that from. So I used to say egg, but I've since adjusted that.
I said room
Room.
instead of room.
I think that's
for
another.
my whole life. Well, that's a Mainism.
Is that wrong? I've
Room.
heard room.
Room.
Do you no longer say room?
I stopped because everyone called me on it, and it made me feel ashamed.
It made you feel like you were speaking in a regional.
Correct.
Dude, I feel like, do you ever have a phrase that you've been listening to your whole life? And then one day you're like, oh, and it finally resonates. And you're like, if I just took that phrase and like really let it sink in, it would have made this easier or something.
Maybe, but not as much anymore.
Any well-known phrase tends to be unbelievably true. And you should think about what it means. Here's an example.
Yeah, we need an example.
Older women know what they want. There's so much value there. Like, did you ever have like a high school girlfriend or a college girlfriend and she told you, I want this. And you then took that as she wants that. And then 2 years later, she's like, I don't want that. And you're like, but you said you wanted that. And she's like, well, I changed my mind.
Yeah, but why is that? I mean,
An older woman.
why does it? I think that's true of everybody,
No, 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 no.
regardless of men, women,
Okay, fine.
boy, girl, whatever.
I mean, as far as romance goes,
oh, okay.
an older woman is like, I want a guy who's this, this, and this, and they mean it because they're older and they know.
Yes.
Is that not a good example?
No, that's a fine example. That is a fine example. I think it's just, experience dictates knowledge, right? You learn more about yourself as you get older.
Mm-hmm.
I've learned a lot more about what I want and what I like.
Certainly.
But
Yeah.
unfortunately, I also fear that I have sought my comfort zone more as I've gotten older.
But they say that happens.
But then I'm not
You got to keep it fresh.
I'm much less likely to take on unknowns. You're still very adventuresome.
I'm pretty adventurous for my
But
age.
I find that I want what I want, and I'm done seeing.
Mm.
Not
Yeah.
done, but
I know.
if I'm going to see something, it had better have a very high likelihood of blowing my socks off.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
So, dude, back to the idiom thing, right? Like, how good is haste makes waste? How good is that one? Haste makes waste. It's the truest fucking thing in the world. Haste makes waste. Anytime you're doing something fast, think about that shit, dude.
Yeah. I just keep thinking of counterexamples to these idioms.
Like, for example,
While I sprinted to get the ring,
no, right, but that's why you were so stressed, because you knew that haste
but
makes waste.
is stress waste? I think waste in buying a ring would be that I paid way more for
No,
it
no,
than
no,
I
no.
should have.
Waste doesn't mean you're necessarily literally wasting. It just means that by having haste, it is not done as well. Therefore, the waste. While it also can make waste in general.
Okay, well then
But it can to buying stuff too.
But then if that's what you mean by waste, then the ring would be of lesser quality than what it would have been if I'd really spent my time to get it.
Okay, but
that may
let's say
be
you got
true.
lucky. And but you spent time, and then it was done faster than you thought, which allowed you to execute your new plan.
Whenever I tell anybody when I conceived of the idea of buying the ring and then when it got to me, they can't believe how quickly I turned it around. Every man I've told.
And then and thus why it's such a significant feat. Because typically haste does make waste. Dude, too fucking funny. I mean,
you know what's not a waste?
life insurance.
Okay. Never. That is never a waste.
I love when we insert ads on each other when we're not expecting it. It's
Well,
very
I was
funny.
expecting an ad. I was just going to go with a different one.
Dude, Policy Genius.
Policy genius.
Your one-stop shop for all your life insurance needs. If you decide that you are going to be hasty, you don't want to be wasty.
No.
You don't want to fucking end up in a ditch and not have anything left over for your loved ones.
Don't waste your life.
So that's why we suggest checking out Policy Genius. It's a great spot it's a great marketplace to be able to compare different insurers and to get the best deal. The people who work there work for you. They do not work for any particular insurance company. They have over a dozen top insurers all in one place. You could save 50% or more on life insurance by comparing quotes with Policy Genius. You could save $1,300 or more per year on life insurance by using Policy Genius to compare policies. And eligible applicants can get covered in as little as a week thanks to the award-winning policy that was rated #1 by Forbes Advisor. Normally it takes some kind of medical exam. In this one, it swaps that for a simple phone call. So just head to policygenius.com to get started right now. If you want to get some life insurance, Policy Genius, when it comes to insurance, Francis, it's nice to get it
Nice
right.
to get it right. Don't
Sure
waste.
Sure is, pal.
Oh.
Dude, I would like to address a common fallacy and see what you have to say about this.
Okay.
The firm handshake fallacy.
Oh boy. This is a good one. I'm glad you're bringing this up.
I find this to be a fucking fallacy. There's a balance. You don't want to be you don't want to have the dead fish handshake. But dude, anytime a dude shakes my hand too hard, I'm like, dude, you're a fucking tool.
I agree. I completely agree.
I'm like, oh, cool handshake,
Why
dude.
are you hurting me?
I know. And dude, so, and this is funny too. Like a friend of mine stayed friendly with his ex-girlfriend.
Mhm.
You know these people too. I'll tell you after we're done. And when she started dating somebody new, they're friends, it's all good. But the guy would shake his hand really hard and we would all make fun of him until they ended up breaking up. Like, he was just like trying to prove he was the new boyfriend. It's like, dude.
Would shake the ex-boyfriend's hand too
Really hard. And we would just like make fun of him.
Did he not shake the other guy's hands that hard?
He may have, but like it was just funny that our friend who had dated the girl previously noticed it. And he doesn't like wish he had this girl back or anything. Like, it was completely based on just observing the
Interesting.
situation.
Some men or some young men are taught by their fathers that a firm handshake is important.
Yeah.
You know, that it asserts yourself and announces you and whatever is, I guess, the mark of a man. I don't even know. But I completely agree. If you suck so much at conversation that you need to rely on a big opener handshake,
Dude.
then you're like, I've never walked away from meeting someone where, you know, I wasn't able to win them back past my meager handshake
Dude, it's ridiculous.
with decent thoughts.
It's ridiculous. It's like, dude, it's such
Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. Like, there's the handshake over, you haven't felt you need to overcompensate with a firm handshake.
It's kind of like, I guess it's a little bit like if you're a professional wrestler and you think you need to come out to like Metallica versus, you know, I don't know, Louis Armstrong or the Spice Girls, when the reality is what you do in the ring should serve
100%
to win the crowd over enough.
Well
you know?
said. Well said.
Yeah.
Dude,
Really
it's
struggled with that one.
Yeah. So don't take that too literally is my advice to anybody. You're a turkey if you're fucking squeezing too hard of that handshake.
Yeah.
And Francis and I will judge you when we meet you.
Do you know who always has really firm handshakes? Military people often have very firm handshakes.
Interesting.
But I almost get it at that point.
I have
almost respect it.
I have found that most military people that I've met have been some of the most soft-spoken, humble, nice, normal, unbelievable people.
Are you in awe of military people?
Kind of, yeah.
I am. Too.
I am.
I absolutely am.
It's pretty fucking cool.
What about people with black belts?
Less so, dude. I feel like
less so,
dude. Karate is just even saying karate just makes me laugh. It's like the dumbest. I just think of like the dojo in my town, the dojo, dude.
But they're not black belts in
calling
karate.
some guy sensei, some fucking guy who lives down the street. Sensei.
They're black belts in taekwondo or jujitsu or whatever that. I don't know. I didn't even think karate was around anymore. Dude,
I'm telling you, man. I said this on an earlier episode. If you really want to be blown away, watch some taekwondo. It's the weirdest, long-legged, bizarre, hippie shit you've ever seen in your life.
I think military. Black belt. What else?
I guess jujitsu's cool. Dude, military is fucking sick though.
Helicopter pilots are up there. There's a handful of things where if I find out that someone is that thing, it's hard for me to stay present in the conversation just because I'm in awe of them the whole time.
Dude, there was ROTC at my school. Did you guys have ROTC?
Yeah, we did.
So it would blow my mind that like I'd be sitting with some fucking kid that I was in school with who had no extracurricular activities, didn't have to work because his parents gave him money, and he was sitting on the couch smoking a bong, complaining about how much work he had to do. When there's his counterpart is an ROTC guy who's up at 5 a.m. doing military training on top of getting better grades than him. Yeah. It's just like the divide in quality of the person's kind of like personality is crazy.
We had a couple on the lacrosse team. You know what's interesting is that they didn't have ROTC on at Harvard until I think my senior year, because that was those were my first 2 or 3 years with the last years of don't ask, don't tell in the military, right? As a policy, where it's like
as far as your sexual orientation,
basically it was like our policy towards gay military members is don't tell anyone and don't ask about it.
Right.
And Harvard was like, we don't like that. As a lot of college campuses did. And then once, I think it was under Obama, that they repealed don't ask, don't tell and said, if you're gay, you can be in the military, no problem. As soon as that happened, they reinstated ROTC on campus.
Oh, that's cool.
And
I dig
then
that.
a couple guys on the team did it. And the guys on our team who did it were the most impressive people on the team.
Yeah. And those kind of guys, dude, they don't have to say shit.
Yeah.
They can just sit there and they're just like so impressive.
They
And
did. Yeah. I mean, they weren't necessarily the best players on the team, but they had their shit together. They knew what they wanted for their lives better than anybody else.
Do you know that Dylan Palladino, obviously?
Yeah.
I believe his brothers
Are in the military.
Army Rangers.
Yeah.
Who are like, they're like polyglots. I think they speak like 4 or 5 languages or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's like just incredibly impressive.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I wish I could accomplish that much.
It is really stunning what the military does in terms of getting the most out of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. You know what? Man, I feel like I love the outfits in the military. Sometimes I feel bad though, because they have to run in like boots and cargo pants. They would have such an easier time running in bird dogs. They would.
You dirty dog.
Oh, you didn't see
dirty
it
dog.
coming. You didn't see it
But
coming.
I've been told.
Yeah.
Bird dogs.
Bird dogs prevent my
coming.
chafe now. So yeah, we love the bird dogs. I would imagine military people love bird dogs, but I won't put words in their mouth. I'm wearing some right now. They are the best. The pants, they got the joggers, man. The joggers are just
flames.
They're hard to find because they're hot. They're hot to trot. But I'm wearing some of the absolutely incredibly comfortable lined underwear liner pants. They're trim, they're slim, they're great for fall. We love the shorts too. Birddogs.com, promo code OOPS. What do you get?
Dude, one of the greatest childhood toys of all time, Q Francis.
Oh, whistling football. Vortex type football.
Am I dead?
Oh, yeah. That's a
I was
long
like,
throw.
did I imagine that Francis could do that?
I didn't even know I thought you were just asking me to tell everyone what it was. But yes, that's the old Vortex football, whistling football. That's what you get when you order one now. Promo code OOPS. Birddogs.com. Get your pants, get your shorts, get your joggers.
Check that shit out. Should we do some emails?
Please.
Okay. Okay, so we had a couple of good ones that we liked. I think this one. So for the record, I think that there's a trend developing here. Like the emails that we tend to really like tend to be the ones that are like super unique, right? I think that's fair to say.
Yes.
So this one really stood out to us as being hilarious. I hope you guys enjoy it. And the title is pretending to be a cop to stop kids from stealing a crime.
Interesting. Great.
Regarding Julio's story about doing something memorable for a young person, I was working for an electrician. I think my story was me saying that while I was playing Area 51 with both guns and the kids were looking, I looked at them and said, "I'm a cop."
That's right.
I believe that's what he's referring to. Yeah. Because making something memorable for a young person was too ambiguous. Okay, I was working for an electrician this is okay. I was working for an electrician one summer doing a small lighting job in a convenience store in New Jersey. I was on a ladder with one other worker behind the cash register when I saw 2 youngsters come in. They must have been about 13 or 14. They went straight to the back of the store, out of the clerk's eye line, but because I was on a ladder, I could see they were both clearly stealing treats in the back. I knew if I said something to the clerk, he would call the cops because this guy was kind of rude to my team and just seemed like a real prick. So I decided to take matters into my own hands and get off my ladder to get in their eye line on the other end of the store. As soon as one of the kids notices me, I slowly pick up the collar on my shirt and make it look like I was whispering into a wire / walkie-talkie under my shirt. The kids get spooked, immediately puts a few items back. He quickly goes to his friend and whispers something to him, and he starts fidgeting in another aisle and starts putting items back.
Oh my God, this is great.
One of them ends up buying a bag of chips, and what I think was an attempt to throw off the stench of their original intent, which was exactly what I would have done. I like to think this is the last time those kids tried stealing, but overall felt great being a low-grade vigilante, not looping in the cops unnecessarily. Dude, that's fucking great.
Absolutely spectacular. The fact that he realizes that that's what he would have done. That's what I would have done too.
Dude, that's just so fucking funny, man. This guy's a legend.
I got nothing to add to that.
I know.
Actually, I do have something.
Okay.
Which is, I have one time, it's illegal to pretend to be a police officer.
I believe that's true. Yeah.
I think it's a federal crime.
Crazy.
So one time I was right near Canal Street, and I was walking behind a guy, and he had a paper bag, a Dunkin' Donuts paper bag, filled with, probably the cup from a big iced coffee, some wrappers, all this crap in the bag. He had finished eating whatever he was eating, and he just dropped the bag on the sidewalk and kept walking. And I'm walking behind him.
Triggering.
And there's something where you live in New York, it doesn't feel like littering. Because you almost feel like the whole city is one big trash can. But put it this way. It would have been way worse for me if I'd been out in a meadow and I'd seen someone do that versus New York, because he just dropped it on the concrete sidewalk. But it's unsightly, whatever. And I wasn't in the mood that day.
For that kind of behavior?
I wasn't going to have it. So I picked it up and I walked behind him. I caught up and I go, "You going to throw this away?" And he goes, "No." And I go, "Yeah, you are." And he goes, "No, I'm not. I don't want that." And I was like, "You better throw it away." And he goes, "Are you a cop?" And I went, "Yes."
Oh my God.
And he took it and threw it away and then went on his way.
How on earth are you going to get in trouble for that, dude? Like, wouldn't the judge be like, "Come on, guys. This guy's clearly a good guy."
I mean, I don't know.
Are you a cop? Yes.
It's not quite, I didn't lead with it. I would never have said I wasn't thinking to say I'm a cop.
Is there anything better than Confrontational Francis to the listeners?
But
He's just too funny, dude. That is so amazing.
He gave it to me. He basically said, this would be the only reason why I would follow your direction, why I would throw this out.
Dude.
And I said, "Okay, yeah, you named it. Let's not make this worse than it has to be. I don't want to have to take you in."
Oh my God.
But I don't know. I mean, it's very similar to that scene in The Hangover. I think it's Hangover, but it might have been Hangover. No, it's Hangover 1, where they go to see Heather Graham because Stu hooked up with her, and then Zach Galifianakis goes and talks to her young son, and he goes, "Are you my dad?" And he goes, "Yes." Right? Because now you weren't planning to lie.
Right.
But all of a sudden, this world rolls out in front of you where your options are better.
Dude, that's so
Does that make sense?
And dude, not only do you not only look like a cop, you sort of look like a state trooper, which is like much scarier. Like, I just picture Francis with one of those little state trooper hats, and it does make sense to me.
I think that guy's story is better than mine. I like his move because what he's done by doing this
It's so
is
funny.
so smart.
It's so subtle.
And so minimal. Yeah, exactly. It's not some crazy like, "I'm a cop.
Right.
You better put that back."
Right. Dude, that is fucking great.
I have one other time that I've lied about a credential to try to get me out of a bad situation.
What'd you do?
One time I was in Florence, Italy. I don't know why. It's funny. I don't always think of like, okay, so I'm in Florence, Italy. It was when I was studying abroad my junior fall. I was in France, and two of my best friends were in Italy. So I went to visit them, and we were, outside of a nightclub or some bullshit with a bunch of Americans, and people were super drunk, and trouble starts brewing. I don't even know what it was. Who knows? And some big guy who was bigger than me, where I knew I don't want to fight this guy.
Yeah.
Starts talking crap to me and basically being like, what are you going to do about it? And I very calmly in that moment said, okay, this is where I am required by law to tell you that I am trained in jujitsu. I said jujitsu. And the guy was like, okay. And fortunately, then someone else like came, the whole thing,
That's such a risky move, bro.
What if he's like, me too, let's roll around.
Or I feel like tough guys think that like somehow that they could possibly think that somehow that isn't something they should be scared of.
Yeah.
And it makes them want to fight you more.
And he would have been absolutely right. I would have get on my back. Like, what am I gonna do? Grab his knee. So those are. I don't know why I thought of that. But.
That's really funny, dude. There's a guy who takes the garbage out of the garbage cans on my block. He's like a crazy guy, and I will just see the sidewalk littered some days, and I just know it was him. That you would hate that, I think.
I definitely would. That's a nightmare. That's something where I would consider waiting and watching until he did it,
Right.
and then telling him don't do it.
Yeah. I think I might try that next time.
That's anarchy.
Yeah, it's
somebody
bad.
just cutting open a bag of trash and
He reaches into the trash can and starts throwing it. He's a crazy guy, obviously. I didn't need to say that.
oh, I thought he was a searcher, a
he's just
treasure
like,
hunter. One of these days,
dude. Wait, sorry.
I'm gonna find a gold doubloon between these Dannon yogurt cups.
I can sense it's closer and closer. Dude, that's ridiculous. Dude, I saw a guy who said he knew karate get his bluff called once, and it was one of the cringiest moments I've ever experienced.
Yeah.
It was in like grade school. It must have been 6th grade. This kid, he was like one of the new kids in school too. He said he was like really good at karate. And he was like, don't make me use my karate on you. And this one kid was like, dude, I'll fucking beat your ass, like karate. So we like go in the schoolyard and the kid like gets in this like lotus pose or whatever the fuck it is. And then the other guy just proceeded to whoop his fucking ass. And I felt so bad. I was like, I can't watch this, dude.
Did you go to a school where there were, circles and then people chanting fight, 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 and then that would happen?
Not really. This is like one of the only, I was thinking about that. This is one of the main examples I have. And besides, there were some collective moments, which I think I've talked about this on the podcast, when my friend Ryan kissed Stephanie in the field at the last day of 4th grade. And I triumphantly said to my dad, Ryan made the move.
He made the move.
That was like the most, there was no like fight 2:00 on the bleachers. Like that didn't really happen at my school. Did that happen at your school?
No. I think people were so afraid of getting in trouble, but they would have fights, but they would meet in smaller groups, in secret. There was a place on the train tracks in Portland, Maine. This is when I went to Chevrolet. There were where kids would meet from different schools and fight.
Okay.
But I never went. I was too afraid to go.
Yeah, dude. So have you ever heard this? Do you know Tom McCaffrey, comedian?
Vaguely.
Dude, he has one of the funniest bits I've ever heard about this. And it's like kind of, he's like, remember like when people would be like, all right, we're going to fight like 2:00. He's like me. He's like, I never wanted to actually fight, but I didn't want to puss out. So he's like, cause you know how they'd be like 2:00 bike racks. He's like, so I would just give a place that was really inconvenient to get to. He's like, me and you, 3 a.m. Christmas morning, Mount St. Helens. Me and you, dude. Vanity Fair's Oscars after party.
Yeah, the Met Gala, table 4. Be there
We're
or
gonna go,
be
dude.
square.
You want to go, dude?
Yeah.
So funny. That's a good one.
That's funny.
What do you think?
Let's wrap it, dude. That was fun. I had a
a
blast today.
Oops, the podcast. We love you all. We love you all. December 1st. We still do not have the specific location.
We do. City Winery. That's where we're doing it.
Okay.
Come to City Winery. I'll definitely have the ticket link on my website,
I'll have it on mine,
francisellis.com.
I'll have it in my link tree in my Instagram bio.
You'll find it. We'll post about it. Come watch us. Live podcast. It's going to be interactive. It's going to be a great night. We're so excited. This is our first one. We hope to meet many of you We love this, and we'll make it a really fun show. So
It's going to be very fucking dope. Also, November 9th, New York Comedy Festival. I'm doing my stand-up in Rwanda themed night, which I've explained in detail already. So come check that out if you're around. And then Francis, do you have any other stuff?
yeah, I got
coming up?
Albany and Hartford, October 20th and 21st. FrancisEllis.com. Those are the funny bones. You'll get tickets, and I can't wait to meet you guys. And then Richmond, Virginia. It's October 28th to the 30th. Also FrancisEllis.com for tickets.
At Oops the Podcast, oopsthepodcast@gmail.com. Keep sending us your funny stories. Thank you very much. Goodbye.